Hi, and welcome to Coach's Corner. I'm Sean Anderson, your host. And on this episode of Coach's Corner, we're going to talk with Ponca City Wildcat head coach Josh Allen. He'll be in studio here, and we'll be discussing homecoming. It is homecoming week. We'll talk about the season thus far and the homecoming game with Bartlesville coming to town right here Friday night. And by the way, big thank you to Kristen Smith on our last episode of Coach's Corner. Kristen here, of course, the coach for the High Steppers, and talking about that big pre-homecoming dinner. They do it every year. They'll be doing it in the Commons again this year. Be sure to get your tickets for that big dinner. First of all, before Coach Josh Allen comes in, we have another Josh, Coach Josh Swain, head coach of the Ponca City Wildcat softball team. And Coach, thank you for being on Coach's Corner.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
16-16 on the season so far. The first two big tournaments of the year, Cushing and Perry. It was a great start for your young team. And tell us how important that was for your team to start the season off so solidly.
Yeah, we did start it off pretty well. We played well in Cushing and Perry, like you said. And that was something that our coaching staff was excited going into the year. It was a little bit different situation than last year. We got the chance to play a lot of games with these two tournaments before we got rolling into district play. We didn't have that chance last year, and we felt like we benefited that, especially with the young team, and we needed innings and at-bats and things like that under our belt, and those two tournaments gave us a chance to do that.
You've really got a young team. You're starting 6 sophomores, 2 juniors, 1 senior. This kind of experience, and when you look at that record, you hear 16-16, you might not think that sounds very good, but when you're talking about starting a team this young, that's not bad at all.
Right, and
right?
We do have one really talented senior. She's going to go play at the next level in Commenda Osborne, and 2 pretty talented juniors as well. But we knew with that talented sophomore class, there were some that had started for us last year and had innings under their belt, but still, at the end of the day, they're just sophomores, and we knew that if they could mentally take the next step, as well as add on to their offense and defense, that we would be in a little bit better situation than we were last year. And most of them rose to the challenge and took that next step. And we've exceeded our win total from last year already, and still have a little bit left to go. So we're pretty happy with where we're at.
Very good. So when you think about how young of a team you have out there on the field and these starters, do you look ahead to next year and the next year? You're thinking, man, you're going to have a team loaded with experience come next year.
Yeah, we try not to look too far ahead. Obviously,
Right.
with as many sophomores, we're excited of what we've got lined up for the next few years. But
Yeah.
we're just focused on playing well in Kansas City. It gives us a chance to get prepared for regionals and see some regional caliber pitching and teams. And we're kind of focused on the next few weeks, but we are very excited of what we got for the next couple of years for sure.
Well, you mentioned Kansas City, big Kansas City tournament coming up. You leave on Wednesday. Before we talk about that, though, Friday, take us back to the 23rd. It was a Friday in Norman, and it was a close one. It was a tough one. Tell us about that game.
Norman's a really talented team, a team that we felt like we should have beat last year, and they ended up winning a close game against us. And it was a very similar situation this year. We were ahead 4-3 in the bottom of the 7th and just couldn't find a way to win a game. We had played well the entire game and set ourselves up to get out there with the win, and just couldn't get it done. But we felt really, really happy about with our effort and how we played.
Ponca City head coach Josh Swain, head coach of the softball team, Ponca City High School, and this week, big week. Wednesday, you're loading up,
Yeah.
and you're making the big drive to Kansas City. That's quite a drive.
Yeah,
And
it is.
it's a big tournament.
Yes.
How many teams are participating?
There will be 16, and it's split up into 4 pools, and one of the teams that are in our pool is right outside of Kansas City. They're undefeated on the year, and they're the returning 4A state champions. So, we've got a tough pool to start, but at the same time, we get to see a really talented team, a really talented pitcher that's going to prepare us for not only the rest of that tournament, but going into regionals that next week.
Now, is this really, I mean, the Kansas City tournament, is this really the purpose, just to get you ready for the regionals?
Yeah, a lot of teams kind of look at it that way. Going into our playoffs are the week after that tournament, and then Missouri is a little later than us. They got 2 weeks left in their season, and then they go into playoffs. But that's the main goal. Is there's a lot of talented teams in that, and people use that as just a tournament to get ready to go for playoffs.
Absolutely. Okay, so the Kansas City tournament, and maybe this would be a great time to talk about regional. I mean, we're a week away from regional play.
Yes, we are.
And you're traveling to Tulsa Union. That's no easy task. Tulsa Union, clearly a pretty solid team. Tell us about the regional tournament. Is having it in Tulsa Union a disadvantage? Obviously, there'll be other teams there, right?
Yeah, there will be. Tulsa Union will be the host team. They are the #1 overall seed. We're looking at Broken Arrow as the 2 seed and Muskogee as the 3. Broken Arrow and Union actually are having down years compared to what they're normally playing at, but I think you know as well as I do, Tulsa Union and Broken Arrow having a down year, they're still really talented. So, we expect them to play really well, and Muskogee is, we don't know a whole lot about them, but we expect them to be pretty talented as well. And if we get the effort and the play that we did we did at Norman and at Bixby a few weeks ago, then we like our chances going in. But it'll be pretty tough all the way around.
Yeah, your athletes that you're putting out there on the field. Not only are they doing the work on the field, they're traveling, but they're keeping up with their academics. You got to be proud of them for that,
Yeah,
right?
they are doing a fantastic job. We like where our grade point average is at right now, and the effort that we get from our kids, and especially with the Kansas City tournament, it's fun to get away and kind of bond as a team and a coaching staff. But it's always tough on the girls with their homework and things like that. So I think most of them have taken care of that before we make that trip, and we're really happy that they did that.
Very nice. Head coach Josh Swain, thank you for being on Coach's
having
Corner.
me.
Absolutely. Head coach Josh Swain, Ponca City Wildcat softball team, and as they prepare for Kansas City tournament and then the regional playoffs. And we look forward to having Coach Swain back on Coach's Corner in not long. Well, stay close. Coming up, Ponca City Wildcat football head coach Josh Allen joins us on Coach's Corner as we head into homecoming with Bartlesville. That's next.